Patrick. I appreciate that. So, try to get this just a little bit lower. Perfect. Good morning, everybody. So, this issue of homelessness is an issue that is affecting communities all across the United States. And I have seen it growing bigger and bigger here in Orange County. And one of the issues why this is happening is that housing crisis, that housing recession that we had beginning in 2007. Now, there's a lot of people who've said they've done a lot of things for the homeless, for housing, etc. But what I saw was this, was that when Congress, and without my vote, I might add, when Congress and the President agreed on bailing out Wall Street, the one thing they didn't do was to see that we were affected at a very, very local level, and they didn't help those people that lost their homes. So people lost their homes, and when they lost their homes, they lost any direction in being able to create their nest egg, their protection, their home against what is really becoming poor and out on the street. So those people that lost their homes, or are in their same home, but it's no longer theirs, are in effect paying 50 or 100% more every month to have a roof over their heads. And if you know anything about Orange County, you know that this is one of the biggest affordability gaps in our nation. In other words, what we earn is not enough to put a roof over our heads. That is what is going on in Orange County and across the nation. So we see more and more homeless. If you go down the Santa Ana River Trail, which is right in the middle of my district, the area I get to represent, that I'm honored to represent, we see tents, and we see at every overpass 10 or 20 tents of people who are living in tents now because they don't have homes, because an apartment is too costly. And so we need to do something about that. There are several organizations in Orange County that do something about homelessness, in particular when it comes to women, to people leaving domestic violence, to people leaving homes of child abuse, to women grabbing up their children and trying to go and begin something new with them. And those organizations provide what we call transitional housing. Transitional housing. They get them into homes and they begin to work on the issues of job placement, of a set of skills that will allow them to get jobs, of all the mental abuse that has gone on in abusive relationships, which in particular women are held down because they have year after year been told they are worth nothing. Because of young children, a woman who's doing childcare, it's very difficult for her to get employment skills. It's difficult for her to go to school. And it is difficult for her to have any kind of credit when it's always been in the husband's name. You see, so they're built in a negative way to try to get help. Those organizations here in Orange County that have in particular worked on these issues have been Colette's Children's Home, which has 5 different shelters here. Women's Transitional Living Center, the Eli Home, Family Assistance Ministries. In addition to that, Orangewood Children's Foundation was also cut in its request for transitional funding. So those places that have been cut, where there's been no transitional funds coming from HUD now, have been to our most vulnerable populations. And this is what we're talking about. We need to rectify to set this aside. Now, HUD tells us, well, you know, we think we get a bigger bang for our buck when we do permanent housing. Well, yeah, but if you look at permanent housing here in Orange County, that's also too difficult to get to. When I look at the HUD list, there are 4 agencies here in Orange County that do permanent housing, or what we call Section 8. County of Orange, that does 31 cities here, City of Anaheim, City of Santa Ana, City of Garden Grove. They're all in my district, these 4 organizations, okay? There are 2 or 3 year waiting lists for someone to get a permanent home, i.e. an apartment, qualify for an apartment. 3 or 4 years. Our women and children on the street cannot wait 3 or 4 years. Oh, there's another problem. They have to have a good credit rating. Most women don't have a credit rating. For sure, children don't have a credit rating. They do not qualify for these vouchers. So we have a problem. And my answer would be, we need to, the unintended consequence of saying we get better bang for our buck when we go to permanent housing. Yeah, but the people you are affecting the most are the most vulnerable in our community. So I'm here to say thank you to the Teamsters who began to understand this was happening even to some of their own members. And thank you to those agencies who are here, who are saying we need help because we're really working to turn this around. And I also want to thank our local elected officials who are here because it's happening in their cities, it's happening to their school children. And they see it firsthand. So thank you for being here with us today to say we need to solve this problem and we need HUD to change direction. Thank you.
We'll hear from Congressman Lowenthal. Alan, you come up. All the electeds are going to have a chance to talk here, and we're going to do some Q&A. We've got a couple people here.